Your Steve Jones Show podcast is loading now. The Steve Jones Show podcast is sponsored by Purdy Insurance. Visit Purdy Insurance on Market Street in Sunbury or visit online at purdyinsurance.com. Sports talk where your voice counts. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is the Steve Jones Show as we start a new week here on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Matt Catrillo here with you. Steve will soon be there from the Sunbury Motors Studio. Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. Ford, Lincoln, Kia, Hyundai, all new pre-owned inventory, all at Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. Excellent service department and sales staff as well down at our friends at Sunbury Motors. Well, Steve, of course, has been at the first few sets of fall camp practices for Penn State, and today the first preseason AP Top 25 poll has come out, and it's pretty similar to the coaches poll which came out last week. Penn State is 19th, and they're among 5 Big Ten schools ranked. Ohio State is 4th. Wisconsin is 12th. Of course, that's the Week 1 opponent, with Indiana 17th and Iowa 18th. Your top 5 is Alabama, Oklahoma, Clemson, Ohio State, and Georgia. And, of course, Clemson and Georgia play each other Week 1. So there's certainly going to be a lot of movement to start Week 1. Texas A&M is 6th. Iowa State is 7th. And that was very interesting. I've been seeing a lot of different opinions today about this poll, and I think our buddy Dennis Dodd from CBS Sports says kind of said it best as far as some quick reaction to this. He says, Iowa State starting at number 7 tells me if it beats Oklahoma twice, which almost happened last year, they have to be considered for a playoff spot. Don't laugh. Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, if they were able to stay that way and have that type of resume, then yeah. If you beat the now presumed number 2 team in the country, well, then, yeah, you have to definitely be considered. That would just be very, very interesting, considering everything that's gone on with the Big 12 this offseason and how they're basically becoming a meaningless conference, or on the road to becoming a meaningless conference in a matter of maybe a year, up to 4 years from now. That's interesting. So you have Iowa State 7th. Cincinnati is 8th, and I think they have some tough games, too, that, if they take advantage, could get them consideration for the playoff spot as well. Yes. Cincy is at Notre Dame and at Indiana this year. And if they take care of their business, well, it's the same thing. Then you have Notre Dame at 9, which I was, for me, a little bit surprised on, but we'll see. North Carolina 10, Oregon 11, Wisconsin being 12 also is a little bit of surprise. There's a lot of potential with Wisconsin, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And you have a good head coach in Paul Chryst. We know that. But I think there's still a lot of question marks with Wisconsin. But that's interesting. Then Florida's 13, Miami's 14, USC 15, LSU 16. They mentioned Indiana and Iowa, 17-18, Penn State 19, Washington, Texas, Coastal Carolina, Louisiana, Lafayette, Utah, Arizona State is the top 25. And Dennis Dodd also throwing out here, don't sleep on the Aggies, going 11-1, maybe finishing second in the SEC West and being in the playoff mix. Think Alabama running the table and Georgia losing twice could put them in, and that's very true. So, an interesting top 25 today, Steve. I get it's the preseason poll, but some surprises and some interesting things to think about how things definitely can shake up past week one, at least to start things off.
Sure. All right.
I love that reaction.
It's just a starting point. It's not that you get cynical in doing this stuff after a while, but you're like, yeah, I've seen 1,000 of these. Okay, we'll see how it goes. You got to start playing, and 2 weeks from Saturday, start playing. What polls do is that they create interest, they create talk, things like that. That's what polls do. I mean, do you really need a poll for college basketball? This is a 68-team tournament. Do you need a poll for college basketball?
That's a valid point, yeah.
Right.
And there's a reason why people start paying attention until, like, January, February.
Right. So, in other words, hey, they upset number 4. Hey, number 2. When you have a number assigned to it, it brings more interest. Same thing with college football. It brings more interest to the game. Like the opening week, it's number 19 Penn State at, I don't know, what's
Wisconsin's 12, which I found a little curious.
That's fine. That's fine. So, Wisconsin's a good team. Mertz is an interesting quarterback who has a chance to be very good. He also has a chance to struggle. He's just at that stage of his career. They did not have the running game they hoped for last year. Berger will probably be the starter. They've got a true freshman that they brought in that's going to help them. And they also have a transfer from Clemson who backed up Travis Etienne. Their wide receivers are good. Their tight end, Ferguson's fabulous. Defensively, they've got a lot of solid guys over there. Nelson at safety, Hicks at corner, Sanborn at linebacker. I mean, they got some good players. But they also gave up a lot of yards last year defensively. Not a few, a lot of yards last year defensively, which was, again, 2 things happened for Wisconsin last year. One, that were atypical of Wisconsin. The defense gave up a lot last year, which was a surprise, and their running game never got going last year. Another big surprise. But we're going to have a little bit of fun today on the show with this. Now, I need to ask you, because I don't have, are we carrying the president's address today?
Not that I've been told, so we should be in the clear.
Okay, good. Good. So, we actually can have fun. All right, so, good.
Yes, we can have fun today.
Oh, good. Hey, great. What I was hoping for. And this is a fabulous, fun article put out by Mike Sando of The Athletic about ranking the quarterbacks in the NFL by Tier 1, Tier 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? And I think that it's just a fun topic. And that's what it's supposed to be, just a fun topic. But it's not as if there aren't some elements in here that I don't think can't be fun, because there are. And let's see. All I got to do is find the darn article, and then we got it. But this was fascinating to read it. and go through it. And normally when we do something like this, we start last and work our way up. This time we're going to start at the top and then work our way down. Let's see, top quarterbacks. Now, since you don't subscribe to The Athletic,
I do not.
This will be all new to you and most of the audience as well. Okay?
Okay.
Let's see here. The key, though, is I want to use the exact verbiage he has in here. That's why I want to make sure I have the article, because I've got... Here we go. Found it. So what we'll do is we'll take a break. And we'll start with the top quarterbacks, and then we'll work our way down. Today's show brought to you by Purdy Insurance. $25,000, by the way, raised. $25,000. The Greater Susquehanna Valley Country Club for the Greater Susquehanna Valley YMCA for the Purdy Memorial Golf Tournament at the Susquehanna Valley Country Club. Purdy Insurance, auto, home, life, business, boat, RV, motorcycle, whatever it may be. They got them all. And the best price as well. Great pros. All at Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
Life on the water comes in all shapes and sizes. From a fishing boat or pontoon boat to a jet ski, we keep you protected. This is Season from Purdy Insurance. We can help make your time on the water relaxed and worry-free with comprehensive protection for you, your friends and family, and your watercraft and boating equipment. We're independent and local, and we'll find the right boating insurance to fit your needs. Call our Sunbury office at 570-286-5855 or go to purdyinsurance.com and see what we can do for you.
Great to have you with us today. So let's get to how this is done. Mike Sando with The Athletic did a great job. It's the 8th year The Athletic has done this, where they have ranked the NFL quarterbacks in the preseason, 34 of them. This is how here's the all-star voting panel. It includes 7 general managers, 5 head coaches, 11 coordinators, 15 executives, 7 quarterbacks coaches, 5 others working in front offices or in other coaching capacities, and the suit. No, I was just kidding.
Fouled, that spells fouled.
That would just crush the credibility of the survey. All right, so here we go. Number 1, there's a tie for first. They received all 50 Tier 1 votes. Aaron Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers and Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs. They are tied for first.
I'm okay with that. I would go Mahomes over Brady, but over Rodgers rather, but that's fine.
Well, they got all 50 votes. I mean, that's how they're doing that, picking one over the other to tie for first. Like, is this guy Tier 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Well, they're the 2 guys that got all 50 votes for Tier 1. 3 is Tom Brady. He received 41 Tier 1 votes, 9 Tier 2 votes.
All right, also fair.
Number 4, Russell Wilson. 40 Tier 1 votes, 10 Tier 2.
Okay.
Now we get to number 5. Number 5 is interesting. And this is the last, by the way, of the Tier 1s. He had 26 Tier 1 votes, 23 Tier 2 votes, and 1 Tier 3 vote. Who is he? I don't think anybody's going to get this.
I'm going to go with Matt Stafford.
Deshaun Watson.
Ah. That is an interesting one, because talent-wise, I would probably be okay with that, but of course, there's the legal issues going on right now.
That's the issue. All of them try to take that off. They all say they tried to take that part off the table and just say, okay, this is what he is as a quarterback. So that's what they were trying to do. All right?
Well, that makes sense then.
As one guy said, he said, look, he throws with accuracy, he's got vision, he keeps plays alive, he can be scary. That's according to one secondary coach. He says, I feel like you could put him at 1, 2, or 4 and not be wrong. He says, who knows what's going to happen to him? He says, I'm going with a 1. If he's on the field, he's a 1.
Now that I would disagree with.
What?
Him being a 1.
Well, he's saying his point is, like, I don't know what to do with him. If he's actually going to play, you'd look at him that way. Tier 2, here's number 6, Josh Allen. Buffalo Bills. He received 20 Tier 1 votes, 30 Tier 2s.
You know, see, why does Tier 1 have to be 5 quarterbacks, though?
It doesn't. He's Tier 2 based on your average number.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
His average comes out to 1.6. Watson's at 1.5. Wilson's 1.2. Brady's 1.18, and obviously Mahomes and Rodgers are 1.0 even.
Okay, now I understand.
So it's done on points.
I think that's sliding Josh Allen a little bit because I think you're ignoring a little bit by classifying him as a Tier 2 quarterback based on that criteria. I think you're sliding him a lot of what he did accomplish last year.
So skeptical takes on Allen note that he still makes mistakes unbecoming of top-tier quarterbacks, including an 18-yard sack and fumble with a game on the line against Indianapolis in the wild card. The Bills barely won the game, scored 10 points on offense against Baltimore the next week, but then lost by 2 touchdowns to Kansas City. He still has to keep getting better, and I think he will as a passer in tight situations, said a former head coach. The gotta-have-it type of plays. You got to drop back, sit in the pocket, make the throws. He reverted back in the playoff game, took a 30-yard sack. It was actually 18. Spinning around with the ball and doing crazy stuff. Said that is what happens. That's what makes you a Tier 2 for the moment, not Tier 1. Tied for 7th. Matthew Stafford of the Rams. And Lamar Jackson of the Ravens. Stafford received 4 Tier 1 votes, 38 Tier 2, 8 Tier 3s. Jackson received 4 Tier 1 votes, 38 2s, and 8 3s. Voters do not think that adding talent at wide receiver will transform the Ravens' offense the way Stephon Diggs' addition catapulted Josh Allen in Buffalo. Their athleticism is what carries them and maybe opens up some things, but if you can keep them in the pocket, they are just guys. There is no question they are going to win games because of Lamar, but will they ever be good enough to win a championship with him? It's a big question.
Taking your calls at 800-795-9565. This is The Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Today's show brought to you by Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. Purdy Memorial Golf Tournament, by the way, raised, yeah, how about that? $25,000 for the Greater Susquehanna Valley YMCA. What the Purdys do, they give back. Over and over again, they give back. You know, this community means a lot to them, and because of that, they just give back. And the Purdy Memorial Golf Tournament did exactly that. Gave back to the community. How about that? Now, when it comes to insurance, auto, home, life, business, okay, boat, motorcycle, RV, whatever it may be, they'll take care of it for you. And they'll save you money wherever they can. They work hard to save you money. They know your budget is extremely important. It is all at Purdy Insurance Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. And we're in the Sunbury Motors studio. Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15, Hummel's Wharf. And online at sunburymotors.com. All right. So Lamar Jackson is 7 on here. We're talking about the Athletic, and they talked to 50 different people, from head coaches to assistants to coordinators to personnel directors, all across the board. Some are active, most are active, some are retired. When it came to the top quarterbacks, it obviously was Mahomes and Rodgers tied for first, Brady's third, Russell Wilson 4, Deshaun Watson 5, Josh Allen 6. Now we get to 7. Okay, so when we get to 7, it is the tie between Matthew Stafford and Lamar Jackson. Now, Jackson is always going to be a very interesting case for anybody. My stance on Jackson is this. If your philosophy is to play with the lead, he's your guy. And you know how strongly I feel about playing with the lead. That is the way to play, is playing with the lead. Right? No getting around it. You always want to play with the lead. Always. But there's going to be those moments where you've got to do something to come back. Those moments exist. You have to have the ability to come back. The problem with Jackson is here's what separates ones and twos here. If Patrick Mahomes is down 2 touchdowns with 10 minutes left, can he win?
Almost definitely.
Can Rodgers?
Yes.
Can Brady?
Yes.
Can Wilson?
Mostly yes.
Right. Can Jackson?
No, absolutely not.
And that's the difference. Jackson is a fabulous front-running quarterback. And I mean that in the highest regard, that he's a fabulous front-running. In other words, that's not a put-down. That is who he is. That's who he is. Okay? He is a fabulous front-running quarterback. No getting around it. When he's in front, oh my goodness. When he is in front, he is just spectacular. But when he's behind and now they know you have to throw it and his legs aren't as much of a factor, it does become an issue. It does become an issue. And that's what puts him in. And he's probably going to be in this spot the rest of his career. There could be a lot of people that are supporting him. I understand that. Okay. He certainly has earned support. They're 31-10 when he starts. Pretty good. Pretty good. And when the Ravens are in front, because they need a formula to win with him, right? And he really is who he's going to be. He's really not. I can't see him getting better as a passer. I really can't. And there's always going to be this question as to whether he's good enough to win a championship for you. Now, if he goes out and just proves it, he proves it. He obviously must have gotten some Tier 1 votes. Yeah, he got 4. Yep. Stafford got 4 as well. Dak Prescott is 9. 1 Tier 1 vote, 41 Tier 2s, 8 Tier 3s. And, of course, you look at his numbers in the first 4 games of last season, they were off the charts. 400 almost every time out. And to be honest with you about Prescott, he's one of those guys that very quietly goes about his business, and when the day's done, you look around and go, hey, he's got great numbers. Meanwhile, at number 10, guess who's number 10? You can do it. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Number 10.
Come on. You can do it. Near and dear to your heart.
It's not Carson, is it?
Oh, no, it's Justin Herbert of the Chargers.
I was going to say, that threw me off for a second when you said near and dear.
That was the idea.
Yeah.
All right, so he received 4 Tier 1 votes, 37 Tier 2, 7 Tier 3s, and 2 Tier 4s. I'll be just absolutely straight with you. There's just no getting around it. There is no way in the planet I expected him to have the rookie season he had. Okay? I don't know about you.
Oh, same here. Yeah.
There's no way I thought in the world he would have the rookie season he did. I watched him in Oregon. I was like, yeah, okay. I was kind of like, all right. Sure. He's all right. But yeah, I was surprised. I really was. By how well he performed with the Chargers last season. Really was. So he's 10th. Like, okay, he's 10th. Now we get to number 11. Matt Ryan, Atlanta Falcons. 32 Tier 2 votes, no Tier 1s. 18 Tier 3s. 12. He's electric. Kyler Murray. 30 Tier 2 votes, 18 Tier 3. Actually got 2 Tier 4s. Supremely talented. He's shown enough early to feel good about him, said one offensive coach. Brock Heward, though, said he was hearing from the Cardinal sources that the quarterback was laser focused on Sunday. He loved to compete, but that laser focus is not there Monday through Saturday. Yikes. We'll see. Also, Murray's production faded statistically over the final 8 games of last season. 13, Ryan Tannehill, Tennessee Titans. 27 Tier 2 votes, 23 Tier 3s. One former head coach said, quote, he is a 2 for sure, and he may be verging on a 1, but he has been helped by a system that has been very beneficial to him. Now he's going to be getting helped even more so, not only having Derrick Henry, but having Julio Jones is going to help. Remember, Tannehill started his career at Texas A&M as a wide receiver and then was converted to quarterback, and he became a first-round pick. This is typical of most quarterbacks, and Josh Allen is the same way. You know, we look at this past weekend. Oh, look at what Fields did. Oh, Lawrence. Hey, look at Trey Lance. We're always in that snapshot moment. Just let it breathe. It takes time. It takes time. Josh Allen's taken time. Tannehill's a perfect example. He's not the same quarterback now as he was with Miami. Look at him now. He plays very well. Tennessee's lucky to have him. I never would have said that years ago about Ryan Tannehill. But you have to allow it. We don't allow for growth in anything anymore. I mean, my goodness. I mean, if we had the same attitude now as 20 years ago, somebody else would be doing Shikellamy football. Oh, sorry. It's a different topic. 14, Joe Burrow, Cincinnati Bengals. 27 Tier 2s, 17 Tier 3s, 6 Tier 4 votes.
Now, that's a little high for me, but okay.
Well, I thoroughly agree with what this statement from a head coach is. I thoroughly agree with this. I just feel like that kid has got something to him. And how many times did you hear me say that last year about him? There's something about him that you just like. I think he gives, when he's playing, he gives the Bengals a chance to win. I'm not saying they're going to win, but you feel like he gives them a chance to win.
While that it's true, I want to see him do it first before I give them that label.
Oh, yeah, well, but I'm saying you just feel like, look, he can't help how bad his defense is. You can't, I mean, look, when Andy Dalton was there, Andy Dalton, and we'll get to Dalton a little bit later in this, but Dalton is one of those guys that needs really good personnel around him to succeed, that if he has to pull it off himself, he can't. Okay? Joe Burrow did not have Mohamed Sanu. He didn't have, some of the other guys in there that Dalton had. Really, really good players. There's been times where he had to do it himself. One defensive coach said, look, talented guy, really is stronger in the pocket than you think. He's got elusiveness to him. I think the accuracy is also top-notch. That's a big part. The accuracy part is huge. And as this coach said, I just feel like that kid, this is a different coach, has got something to him. It's hard to explain. He has great confidence, great swagger. You can tell he's smart. He does the right thing. He just has to play more football. He's heading in the right direction. Now, the key is going to be he played 11 games last year, and obviously he's coming off an injury, so we'll see how he reacts to the injury. That's big. Now we get to the Tier 3 guys. Tier 3, ladies and gentlemen. We've been waiting for Tier 3. The moment has now arrived for Tier 3. First up in Tier 3 is our number 15 quarterback, Derek Carr, Las Vegas Raiders. He received 22 Tier 2 votes, 28 Tier 3 votes. Actually, he's up 6 spots. As one executive said, your eyes tell you he's a 3 sometimes, and there are times he's a 2. There's that inconsistency that plagues him at times. Extremely accurate. He's got as beautiful a stroke as you'll find. Most people will say if the pocket is tight, that's probably when his play descends. Number 16, Ben Roethlisberger, Pittsburgh Steelers. Down 8 spots from a year before.
Yeah, that's a disgrace that you've got Derek Carr, Joe Burrow, Matt Stafford ahead of Ben Roethlisberger. I'm sorry. That's a disgrace.
1 Tier 1 vote, 19 Tier 2s, 27 Tier 3s, 3 Tier 4s. Roethlisberger, this is the 8th year of it. He's never been ranked lower than 8th previously. Never. They lost, as one defensive coordinator said, they lost their run game, had a couple of guys hurt on defense, and it was up to Ben to carry them over the final 5 games. He needs a lot more help at this stage of his career. One voter was watching to see how Roethlisberger looked from a conditioning standpoint before betting on him.
Oh, enough with the conditioning. It's enough with that already. The dude is 38 years old. He knows how to get ready for a season. That is the most ridiculous argument I've ever heard. And whoever gave him Tier 4 votes, you don't know what you're watching. You just don't.
The way their season ended created bias in how people view the Steelers, this one coach said. Their defense got absolutely shredded by Cleveland. Ben, though, did complete 47 passes for more than 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. The pure player, he's a guy that can put a team on his back and can win every game on the schedule. A GM, though, said Roethlisberger would still scare opponents in a playoff game, but admitted it might be more off a reputation. When you are a statue, you have to get rid of the ball quick, said the executive who placed Roethlisberger in the Tier 4 area. They did that. When you took that away, he could not do anything. Maybe he turns into a 3 if they get a running game going with Najee Harris. But they have an offensive coordinator who has never called a play in the NFL before. So I'm not sure what I'm going to be looking at. I think Ben is almost to the 19th hole.
Pretty much all those arguments are totally ludicrous. We're gonna blame the offensive coordinator. We're gonna blame the defense getting shredded against Cleveland as why he can't play anymore.
No, it was that guy was praising Roethlisberger, saying the defense got shredded through for 504 touchdowns.
Oh, okay.
He was actually giving him credit.
Okay.
And And that was the one guy that gave him a Tier 1 vote.
I just realized that he's the. I'm going through my head of what big name hasn't been mentioned yet, and that would be him. And yeah, that's an absolute disgrace. 17 is Baker Mayfield, right behind him. 17 Tier 2 votes, 33 Tier 3s. One evaluator compared Mayfield to Andy Dalton in his prime. When Dalton was at his best in 2015, the Bengals were ranked 5th on defense and special teams that year. He does get the benefit of a great offensive line. He has a great running game, but I do think he's the one that makes things go. When Odell got hurt and they started to take he said when Odell got hurt and they started to take off, I think that was because Baker could be more of himself. If you truly are a product of the talent that is out there, then you're truly a number 3. You lose an all-pro wide receiver and you play your tail off, that shows me a lot more. But his play improved when they relied on him to use other weapons. '18 is Kirk Cousins, Minnesota Vikings. 7 Tier 2 votes. 43 Tier 3s. By the way, just one quick note. There will be no Washington football team quarterback in this, okay? Just so everybody knows. There's nobody in. Well, I guess they have Fitzpatrick, right? As of now, yeah. Yeah, okay. He is actually on here. Because the other kid who played in the playoff game. Yeah, Tyler Heineke. Hasn't played enough. Yeah. That's why he's not on here. That's fair. Kirk Cousins finished the 2020 season 4th in yards per attempts, 6th in passing yards, and so forth. If you look at his stats, he's a Tier 2 all day, every day. I have some problems with him, though. Off schedule, it is tough. When the guy is open, there's no one more accurate. When the picture's not perfect, he's not. And that really is a good description of Kirk Cousins. He has good games, and then he has other games where he has the daylights kicked out of him. He struggles to win big games, and there is a fear factor to his game when you see him up close if you're in the division. He's good at play action. He's really good at moving the pocket. He's a good athlete. His accuracy is good. I don't know that he's going to win the whole thing, but I think he can be a playoff guy. 19 tied at 19. Jared Goff, Detroit Lions. 5 Tier 2 votes, 43 Tier 3s, 2 Tier 4s. Tied with Carson Wentz of the Indianapolis Colts. Wentz got 9 Tier 2 votes, 35 Tier 3s, and 6 Tier 4s. If he plays like he did in Philadelphia, he is Drew Lock. He just does dumb things, said an offensive play caller. Right now, from the neck up, he's broken. Frank Reich is going to have to sort him out. Frank is good. Frank can do that. If Wentz could ever capture what he had that first year and the confidence, he is a 4 until then. Carson's biggest issue is he tries to hit home runs, said another voter. That is why he holds on to the ball and takes sacks. That is why he gets hurt running around. He has not mastered he has not mastered the live to play another down mentality. Throw the check down, just let it go. The psychology of the situation last year fed into that. I have to make these plays to show them I'm still the guy. No one reeled him in. The partnership with Frank, the good defense, they'll play the game a little bit different. I think he will surprise people this year. A defensive coordinator said he thought the Eagles had too many former coordinators on their offensive staff. All's fair. Number 21. Very good. Number 21 here. Let's see. Every once in a while you hit a picture. You shouldn't hit the picture. There we go. Number 21 is Jimmy Garoppolo, San Francisco 49ers. Of course, he's quarterbacked his team to a Super Bowl before. Let's see. What are the Jimmy Garoppolo votes here? I guess we're at the top of the hour, right? We still haven't gotten around to your guy yet. I figured. We'll do that in the next half hour.
Maybe. We got a ways to go. Garoppolo got 1 Tier 1 vote, 6 Tier 2s, 37 Tier 3s, and 6 Tier 4s. All right, we'll come back next hour. More quarterbacks from The Athletic on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
When it comes to car buying, there's the other guy's way, and then there's the SMC way. The other guys force you into a vehicle you really don't want. The Sunbury Motors way lets you take the time you need to browse, ask questions, and take the test drive and think on it. For over 100 years, the Mertz family and all their employees have made your experience the most pleasant one you'll ever have. The other guys won't offer you the best price for your trade, no matter how much they say they will. The SMC way is their promise to provide you with the most money the market shows your vehicle is worth. The SMC way is to offer you all applicable factory rebates on new vehicles and generous discounts. Looking for a pre-owned vehicle? The SMC way checks each vehicle in a 200-mile radius to determine the lowest price, then beat it. It's the lowest price promise, just part of the SMC way. The choice is up to you, the other guy's way or the SMC way. The SMC way wins every time. Sunbury Motors Company in the North 4th Street Auto Plaza, Sunbury, and at sunburymotors.com. Selling more cars and satisfying more customers for over 100 years.